Hi, this is Barbara and Scrappy Mania, and today I want to show you how to create these beautiful little petite flowers. Great for any layout, just to fill in any gaps on any flower sprays, or even for cards. They're pretty nice. They're not as bulky, and they're similar to those mini prima flowers, as you can see here. Now, I'm using the technique that I showed you in another video with the McGill 6-punch flower, and I told you that you can also do the same technique with a 5-punch flower. And so I showed you how to create these flowers, as you can see here, using that McGill punch. And you can use the same technique for any kind of size flower, a 5-petal or 6-petal flower. This technique works very well. So let me show you how to create these little flowers using the same technique. So what I'm using right now is a 5-punch flower. So I have these mini flowers that I bought some time ago by Success, and it came in a pack of 2. So these 2 flowers came with that pack. And for the flower that this one creates is actually this one. And the flower that the other one creates, this one creates, is actually this other one. And it's a little smaller, just a tiny bit smaller, as you can see there, comparing those two. It's just a tiny bit smaller. This one creates a smaller flower. So let me show you how to do it. Now, let's do one using this 5-punch petal, but this fatter flower. And what you need to do is, let me see if I find here's one. So when you punch it out, it's going to look like this, and then you're going to need to create some slits, just like when I showed you how to create it with this flower. The same technique. You're going to take a pair of scissors and you're going to just cut slids between each of the petals, as you can see here. Okay, so you cut some slid. Okay, so here's the I already created with the slit. So now let's go ahead and start creating our bud. So we need to create a bud like this one that you see there, and I'm going to show you quickly how to do that. So you're going to take the flower, and then you are going to take a pair of tweezers, and you're going to fold up each of the petals. You see me doing there. Okay. Once you have done that, then you're just gonna make your bud by bringing all those petals together to create a bud, like you can see there. Then to keep it closed, we need to put a little bit of adhesive at the end of each of those petals. So you're just going to put a little bit of adhesive, not too much, and then hold it and let it dry. Put a little more adhesive on the opposite petal, and then you're going to hold it, let it dry. Then you're going to put, let's see, I think we're pretty good. I think it's going to stay close. And see, there's my bud. And then I can take my tweezer and kind of bring the petals outward a little bit, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. Now I'm ready to create the next flower. So for this one, we're going to need 4. You just need 4 flowers. So I'm going to take my embossing tool, and I am going to go around the edges of each petal, and then I'm going to drag it in. So I'm going to pull from the outer edge of that petal inward to the middle. Going to go and do the same thing to the next petal. Just pull it in. Going to do the next thing to the same petal. Next petal, pull it in. And next petal. And pull it in. And then once I do all that to all the petals, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of emboss the center. So see, notice that it kind of comes up a little bit. It creates like a cone. Then I'm going to take my bud put a little bit of adhesive in the center of the bud, and then I'm going to place that in the middle of my flower. Okay, and it's tiny, so sometimes you're going to have a little issue with it, but that's okay. And then now I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the bottom of these petals. Okay, a little bit of adhesive on the bottom here, just a little bit, not too much. Okay, and I might put a little bit over here, just a little bit, not too much. I'm just putting like a dab of glue. Hold it. I'm going to hold it in place just to make sure it kind of have a chance to set. Then I'm going to take my tweezers, holding the flower between my thumb, take my tweezers, and I'm going to bend each of the petals outward from the tip outward. So I'm going to take it, find the tip, and then bend it back. Here's the tip, bend it back, and here's, okay. So there, I created the center of my flower. Okay, now I'm going to take the next one. I'm going to do the same technique, and I'm going to emboss the petals. Each of the petals, I'm going to emboss it and then bring it inward. I hope you can see this. Then once you do that, you're going to turn it over. For this one, I'm going to turn it over and then emboss the center, so that way it creates kind of like a little cuff, like you can see there. And then this flower is going to go in the middle. So the first two, you're going to kind of make it that will close in the center. For the next other two petals, we're just going to have it, we're just going to emboss the bottom piece of the flower, and then we're going to turn it over and then emboss the middle flower so that it will be drawn upward, as you can see here. So I hope you can understand that, but just look at what I'm doing and you'll get the hang of it. Okay, so there. Now we can leave it like this and it'll be a very small flower, or we can add another one. So I want to add another flower. So I'm going to take another another flower, and then I'm going to do the same thing. So notice I'm going to go ahead and emboss each of the petals, bringing it inward. As I emboss, I'm drawing my stylus inward to the center. See how I kind of push it to the center, making it cuff up like you can see there. Then I turn it over and then do the same thing in the center, and then that makes it look like that. Put a little bit of adhesive, just a tab, not too much, and then try to make sure that when you place it, notice that this flower or this petal is between these two petals. And then just take my tweezers and then pull it outward like you see here. Okay, so there, that's my first little flower. It's kind of cute, perfect. And these are perfect to glimmer mist. So if you use, like I'm using cream color cardstock, but these are perfect to take a little bit of glimmer mist and coordinate it with your layout like you see there. So now let me show you how to create the other one. So that's how that's the technique that you use to create it with this punch. Now I want to show you how to create it with this punch. And you do not need to make any slits at all because it's already separated, as you can see there. You just need to create the buds and just layer the flowers. And so I'm going to go ahead, and actually, you know, I forgot to put you can put another set of flowers here. I believe this one has 5. Actually, no, these have 4. These are the ones that have 5. I'm confusing myself, but these I use 5 because they're thinner. So you need 5 flowers to create it. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go around the edges. And then, now because this is the bud, we're going to go ahead and take our tweezers in between and kind of pinch it in the center. So take our tweezer, put it in the center of the petal, and then cuff up. Do it through each of your petals, as you can see here. And then once you do that, you're going to close it. Just like I showed you how to do the first flower, you just need to close it and create the bud. See how it creates a nice little bud? So now I'm just going to put some glue so that way it'll stay closed. Put some glue there. Open this petal up, put a little tap of glue, not too much. Don't put too much because you don't want to see that glue. And this one looks like it needs a little bit. So you're just going to put glue where you feel like it's going to need a little bit. Okay. So there you have it. So there's my little bud. Now I'm going to take my next petal, and this one is also, I'm going to pull it in, as you can see here. Just going to pull it in. And I'm going to leave it in a cuff, like in a cuff form, as you can see there. And then I'm going to lay my bud on top of that one. A little bit of glue. Put it in the center of my flower. See there? And then I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, place it at the end of each petal. You know, you're going to pull it out a little bit, put a little bit of glue, not a lot. Don't put a lot, because you'll see that glob of glue as it dries in between your flowers, and you don't want to do that. Just a little bit of more glue. And then push it up. Now this is going to be a little different, because once you do that, you're going to take your tweezers and then you're going to bend your petals outward. So I'm taking each of my second layer and just bending them petals out. And see, it creates something like this. Look how sweet that looks. Now I'm going to take, I got 1, 2, and let me make another one. And the way I did this is the same as I did the other one. You're just going to emboss each of the petal, drawing your embossing tool towards the center, making that flower kind of cuff up. Then you're going to turn it upside down and make it look cuff like that. So you're going to make 3 of them are going to look like this. Then you're going to put a little bit of glue, just a little tab of glue, and put it in the center of that flower. You see that there. You're going to take some more glue. Trying to do your best to offset it a little bit, so that way you have a petal between 2 petals, like you can see there. And it's kind of hard sometimes with these tiny little flowers, but if you can, try to kind of offset it. And that's why I usually, for this little one, I do 5 petals, because hopefully with my last petal I'm going to be able to kind of cover the gaps. There. Okay. So there's my flower. So that's that flower. Here's the other one I created. Here's some more of these little flowers. And these are great to sit down one afternoon, just take your scraps. So I had a lot of leftover scraps, and I just punch a bunch. You can get a lot of flowers with just one little strip. This is actually 2 or 3 little strips, thin strips of cardstock. I hope I inspire you to create these beautiful little flowers, and thank you for watching. Bye now.